Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to the one more installment of VIVENTOR Peer-to-Peer webcast. Today I'm here together with Svetlin from Stikcredit. Welcome to VIVENTOR, Svetlin, again.
Hi again, good to see you.
So the purpose of this webcast is to talk about Stikcredit, of course, and what our investors can expect from this loan originator, and what's new for them here. So as some of you probably know, Stikcredit was present on the VIVENTOR platform quite actively a while ago, but then decided to limit their loan offerings on our platform. But now we see you are back, so very good to have you back. And I know that you have been back on July, beginning of July, so it's been several weeks already while you're here on the platform. And for those investors who you don't know, so together with me today is Svetlin. Svetlin, maybe the first starting point would be great to have some introduction about yourself and the Stikcredit business.
Sure, great. So most of the people probably already know me. I'm the business development manager of Stikcredit. I joined the company around 2.5 years ago, and I've been with it ever since. We did a lot of great things during this period. It's been on the market for 7 years now. It was established in 2013, and after with an office network in mind. And after some time, the co-founders realized the huge potential of the online lending business. So they shifted their focus to online consumer lending. Stikcredit is a company providing short-term consumer financing, unsecured loans. We have two products, which are installment loans with maturity up to 24 months and for amounts of up to 2,500 euros, and a single payment loan, which is with a short duration of 30 days and for amounts of up to 400 euros. So our typical borrower is, usually our target consumer is between 25 to 45 years old. They're usually tech savvy and with a higher education. And they have zero or no savings, and also it is likely that they have recently changed their job or anything along those lines, and that's the reason why they can't obtain a bank financing, and that's why they're underbanked consumers. As a company, we've experienced tremendous growth. We've started, as I mentioned, in 2013. The company has been profitable since the first year of establishment. And for the past year, we will reach, I think, I have the unaudited figures yet, but we'll reach around 1.1 or 1.2 million euro in net profit, which is an increase of about 30% since last year. So we've been able to maintain this momentum, and since last year we've had a more aggressive expansion policy, and we were able actually to grow the loan issuance rate more than 2 times since last January. So we were standing at around 400,000 euros per month, and at the peak this year we were issuing around 1.1 million euros of principal per month. And this is the result of a lot of efforts and a lot of good planning on our side. Also, we hired a lot of talented people, which helped to fuel this growth, and we hope to maintain it in the future as well. We obviously had to deal with the coronavirus situation this spring, which came quite quickly, and it unfolded extremely fast. So it made it very difficult to react to the situation. But I think we handled it very well because we did several things. We've always maintained a good cash buffer, and our policy has been always relative. Our credit policy has been relatively on the conservative side, so we haven't issued really loans generously in the past, which helped us to maintain a good collection rate. We also immediately started liquidating part of our portfolio. We decreased loan issuance rates. We increased the credit cutoffs, the scorecard cutoffs limits significantly. So we were only lending to the best of the best consumers, and we also almost limited entirely the issuance to new customers. So we were focusing only on repeating clients with proven track record with the company, in which we had confidence that we'll be able to work together and collect the amounts issued.
Are you still following that strategy, or you now already
we've
starting
obviously
to work
implemented
with
all the right? No, so in June, actually, by the end of May and early June, the government lifted the crisis measures in Bulgaria, and so everyone was able to go back to work as normal and to operate as usual. And in June we started getting back to normal, and we got back to our normal credit risk policy, and because we were seeing all the positive signs basically, and the shocks to the economy were not as hard as we expected them to be.
And what is the situation right now with coronavirus in Bulgaria? Is it in many countries we are now talking about second wave coming and government taking again some measures? So what is the outlook for the next few weeks or months?
Our government is talking about a second wave as well. So far, we're seeing the economy operating as normal, and we don't see anything negative, any negative signs from our clients as well. As you're well aware, and it's the same across the entire Western Europe, the measures have not been lifted in our country entirely altogether. So people are still keeping, social distance and the increased hygiene and so on and so forth. And so I think people learn to live with the current situation, and we are cautious about the future. Definitely, we've increased our cash buffers, and because we saw what happened on all peer-to-peer platforms basically during the first week of the first wave. It was quite unexpected, and actually having a lot of liquidity is what helped us to go through this crisis unharmed and to maintain our reputation, because Stikcredit proved to be one of the companies which was actually able to meet all of its obligations at any time without any issues, and we'll continue doing this. We have also experience with immediate shifts in the credit policy, so we think we know what to expect, and we're prepared for it. An interesting thing actually is that during the months with the toughest consequences from the COVID-19, which were March and April, and the months where we actually decreased our lending more aggressively and adjusted our risk policy, are now the months which show the best recovery rates for collection rates for our portfolio, which shows that we've made the right choices, and we truly lended money to only the most premium borrowers which we could find. And of course, this didn't bring any issues and problems further down the road, and we think we're gonna play it the same way this time, the second wave comes.
Okay. Can you tell us a bit more in figures about your company? So you said you were established 7 years ago, right?
Right.
And currently, what is your total loan portfolio that you have right now?
The outstanding principal is around 5 million euros at the moment.
And where does that place you in the market in Bulgaria? How big are you comparatively?
Well, I think it would be safe to say we're in the top 10 companies.
Okay.
In terms of size.
And how many people do you have working at Stikcredit right now?
We currently have around 100 people employed in terms of permanent contracts, and we have around probably around 50 people that are helping us with is on the outside.
Okay. You mentioned quite significant portfolio growth in the past. Of course, that we all know that we are operating in a risky environment in this subprime lending market. So, what are your current default rates, and how do you handle defaults in your company?
Right. So we currently have around 15% or less of the loans which we issue go beyond 60 days delinquency. And this has been maintained for a long time now. So we're able to maintain this percentage even while we're increasing our lending activity. But we obviously collect a significant amount of those loans as well, which go beyond 60 days of delinquency. And
do you do it yourself, or you have a third-party company that you onboard in those cases?
We do it ourselves mostly, and we also use third parties for loans which more problematic, basically. So we have an extensive collection process where we have soft collection practices up to 30 days of the loan delinquencies. This includes series of text messages, email reminders about the late payment, also phone calls from our call center, where the agents try to establish contact with the borrower to understand their current situation, what's the nature of the delay, and to work with them how they can probably restructure the outstanding obligation, or maybe when to expect payment. The more we go into the delay, up to 60 days, we'll send probably series of letters with more threatening legal tone, explaining the legal actions which we're allowed to proceed against the borrower in order to collect our loan. We'll probably try to establish contact with contact persons provided by the borrower in order for them to communicate to the borrower also that there needs to be payment on the loan. And we'll probably visit, a field agent will most likely visit the borrower and try to talk in person with them. And of course, the further we get down the road in delay, if we see that we're unable to collect the loan and that there is absolutely no collaboration on behalf of the borrower, then we'll choose one of the two paths: either hand it over to an external collection agency, which are specialized in more difficult cases, or we'll take legal actions against the borrower and collect the debt. So
is there a law? Is there a law, and how does the law work in Bulgaria with personal bankruptcy?
There was no personal bankruptcy. Actually, there still isn't personal bankruptcy. There are some legal amendments which are currently undergoing, and the government just will likely introduce personal bankruptcy. From the looks of it, if a borrower is unable to pay the debt within 10 years, then he can declare personal bankruptcy.
Okay, but for now there is not in place.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that you also mentioned that you have proprietary underwriting software that you use to help you score the customers. And can you tell us more about it? Have you developed it? Of course, you developed it yourselves. So what's so special about it?
Right. it's so special about it, the fact that by developing the software in-house, we are able to constantly change and adapt it to our business needs. This allows us to be very quick in optimizing our business and to always use the tools which best serve the needs of the business. We don't have to hire contractors and wait for and have extensive lead times. We're always using the most innovative solutions which are out there on the market. This obviously allows us to have greater margins because it improves our operational efficiency. Also, it has helped us to automate significantly the application and loan issuance process, because the software makes all the decisions, and the co-agents, they have only the obligation simply to verify the identity of the client and to make sure that it's not a fraudulent application. So this is done by humans, and everything else is done by computers. So it takes only a fraction of a second to simply to make a decision whether or not to grant the loans, and to pull in all the data from external registers and so on and so forth. And this significantly reduces the amount of human errors, also the costs related to those human errors. It allows us to have a lot more control on the business because we can adjust absolutely every aspect of the business the way we see fit. It also allows us to collect a lot of data, which then can be analyzed in order to improve the lending and collection activities and achieve the results which we want to see. And that's actually what helped us to maintain a comfortable level of default rate while we also expand aggressively.
So 15% is comfortable for you?
Yes, for our type of business, it's quite comfortable.
What is the average interest rate, effective yearly interest rate that you charge your borrowers?
Right. So it's a bit different in our country because the government introduced interest rate cap several years ago. Obviously, and it's 50% per year. Obviously, the short-term lending businesses, they can't survive with such low interest rates. So there's a loophole which all of the companies use, and there's some other charges which are additionally placed on top of the interest rate in order to get to the profitability level which is expected from this industry. And if we take this into consideration, then the average interest rate would be in the region of 140-160% per year. This is the average interest rate, which may seem high for some, but it's low in relation to other markets as well. And we also have to keep in mind that these are very short-term loans, and the typical the average duration of a loan is 5 to 6 months.
So you, as I mentioned in the beginning, you were previously present on VIVENTOR platform. Then
right.
You went away for a while, took a holiday, and now you're back. So can you tell us more? What made you choose? What made you decide to come back to VIVENTOR? And
right.
what other investment sources you are using to raise funds for your company besides VIVENTOR?
Right. So for external financing, we're only using peer-to-peer platforms. We actually have something interesting we're working on right now, which I'll share in a minute. So far we've only used peer-to-peer platforms. We never actually. While we took a holiday away from VIVENTOR, it was never in the mind that we would ever return to the platform. This was related to the fact that The platform obviously had new management. The VIVENTOR's policies and due diligence practices changed, and we had to adapt to this. It was also in a period where we were very, very busy working on other projects and these changes. So it took some time in order to go through the new due diligence process and to reach the level for VIVENTOR basically to for the new management to do the proper business checks of our company. And we actually, as far as I remember, we were talking about listing loans again on the platform slightly before the COVID-19 situation, and then we froze our plans due to the increased volatility and uncertainty in the markets. So we only had a very short interruption of 3 months or so, and we were also viewing always viewing VIVENTOR as a very trustworthy partner, and it has also proven as one of the most stable. Happy to work with you.
Great. So besides VIVENTOR and other peer-to-peer platforms, that's mostly your shareholder financing, probably, yes, into the company.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually the company is funded almost entirely from retained earnings from the profits which it produced over the years.
Nevertheless, maybe you can tell more about who your shareholders are and what experience in the industry do they have. Are they involved in the business, or are they just providing the equity?
Oh yes, they're extremely involved. They're self-starters. They started the business themselves and built it into what you see right now as Stikcredit. They had previous experience in lending and collection business, which was established through their prior operations in pawn brokerages. So they saw the potential of the lending business, and they established it with own capital and helped it build it into what it is. And right now, one of the co-founders is specialized mostly in the collection department, and the other has a more global view on the company, but he's involved in pretty much every aspect of the business.
Okay.
And probably just to mention, they're also young and energetic people, so they're quite proactive.
Normally, we also have some questions from our investor community, which we like to ask you, but probably summer is here and not a lot of we don't have any questions actually from investors right now. But my question maybe overall that I'd like your comment on is why do you think our investors should choose Stikcredit and invest into your loans on a platform? What is your general message to our investor community?
Right. I think there are several aspects for why they should pick our company. The first one is we're very innovative, and we want to become the market leaders. We also have strict risk policies, and we have very, very prudential management, which we have actually proven in the current short-term crisis which we experienced. The company has been able to maintain excellent liquidity, and this is extremely important for external investors because you can promise to deliver whatever results or return you want to, but at the end of the day you have to be able to protect the money in the first place, which are given to you. So security and innovation, I think, are key. And also we are extremely driven as organization, and we have a lot of appetite for expansion in the future.
Great. Thank you for this honest answer, Svetlin. don't have any questions myself anymore. So unless there is anything else you would like to discuss, I think it was good to have you here. It was good to have this overview of the company. We will also be posting updates about the company on our loan originator page, so all investors have the latest information about your business presentation, about your financial status, about your portfolio. So I wish you all the best in your business, and I wish you to have good funding from VIVENTOR as well. So for those of you present here, that was me, Andrius from VIVENTOR, and also Svetlin from Stikcredit. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for our next webcast.
Thank you as well, Andrius.